Hey guys, it's Rahim. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, smash the subscribe button because I talk about property investment, personal development, and how to gain financial freedom. In this video, I'm going to share with you how to live rent-free. So you never have to pay rent to anyone else and you live freely in that house. You see, before we get going, I've got an appeal I'd like to make. We've done a research. We realized 70% of the people that are watching my video have not hit the subscribe button. If you are one of those people, I kindly ask you to take a second or two to smash that subscribe button right now to be part of the family. And the benefit you also get, you get notifications for whenever I post videos online. Could you kindly do that? Please do. Smash that subscribe button now. And whilst you're there, hit the like button so that the algorithm will push the video for wider and wider audiences. So if you want to know how to live rent-free, this video is for you. You see, when I start my property investment journey, I did not have lots of money to spare. I did not have lots of money to be able to rent multiple of houses in order to get my investment going. But I tried to find a way how I can think outside of the box to get me to be able to live rent-free whilst I build my property investment portfolio. So at the time I was living in an 11-bedroom shared house. I was living in that house. I was paying rent at the beginning, but I bumped into a strategy called rent to rent. I wanted to invest in that strategy, but I did not have lots of money. I wouldn't be able to rent there. So it becomes a little bit of a hard thing to do. So what I did basically is to look for the right properties I was looking for. So in my case, I'm already used to living in an 11-bedroom shared house. So I was looking for anything under 11-bedroom houses I can rent so I can pay the rent. Okay, that is the intention, by the way. But I soon realized these houses are way too expensive. I will not be able to afford to rent these houses. So what I did basically is to use the rent to rent strategy, which would allow me to rent the house. So what I did basically is to rent the property. I was still living in the house where I was living, paying rent. I looked for a property. I looked for a 7 to 9 bedroom house. I couldn't get a 9-bedroom house, but I was able to get a 7-bedroom house. So with that 7-bedroom house, it's a Victorian house, massive houses, right? It's a massive house. 1 bedroom could literally become a studio. I took that property. I realized you also have 2 massive reception rooms, right? The reception rooms are there, they're massive, and also it has another room upstairs that was a single, slightly bigger than a single room, and you got a massive kitchen dining area as well. It's one of those Victorian buildings. So what I did when I got that property was, instead of having those 2 reception rooms doing nothing, 1 dining table and a sofa in the next room, I become a little bit prudent. I said, okay, how about if I can convert those 2 reception rooms into a bedroom? So I approached the council. Obviously, they said I could do it because they hit the minimum space required, and the kitchen was also big. Okay, so I converted those 2 sitting rooms into bedrooms, so it becomes 8 bedrooms at that time. And then the other bedroom that nobody was using, smaller room, looks like an office, and then also it hits the minimum space required, actually more than that. So what I did basically, and again I rented that room. So I took that house from being a 7-bedroom to a 9-bedroom house. So what I did basically is to rent the property out. Okay, so when I rent the property out, I was still making some money there. But I was thinking, I'm renting this property and renting it out, and I'm renting a room in someone else's house. So I'm thinking, what would be the best way in order for me to not pay rent to my landlord that I'm living in that 11-bedroom house? So what I did basically, I looked at my 9-bedroom houses. I observed and see what I was doing there. What I realized, I was kind of undercharging in some of the rooms because the rooms were very massive. And then I determined which room I wanted to move into in that 9-bedroom house. I looked for not the biggest room, but the kind of okay room that I would be able to fit in with all my belongings. So what I then did, I realized that that room, if I was to rent it in the open market, it would be about £400 a month. I'm talking about 7-8 years here, okay? So what I then did, I looked at the other bedrooms, which is the remaining 8 bedrooms. I said to myself, how about if I can split the £400 a normal tenant would have paid for the room that I wanted to move into all those rooms? Will that work? I put the figure, I divide that by 8, and then I was able to add the incremental in all those bedrooms. Okay, so that's what I did. But when I put that in a picture form, like thinking about it, writing about it, you see, again, you have to visualize what you want to do. You have to kind of anticipate what you want to do. So in paper, it was okay. I was thinking, okay, that's fine, I'll do that. So what I then do, because I did not know what I was doing that much, I wasn't that experienced, I wasn't giving long-term contract. I was only giving 3-month contract. in some occasions even no contract, okay? So don't do this. I wasn't doing that because I wasn't educated properly. So 3-month contract. So what I then did, basically, because they almost moved in the same time, I knew their contract was going to expire within 3 months. So what I did basically, before the 3 month expires, I speak to the tenant, look, I would love to have you in my house, but if you're going to stay in my house, this is how much you are going to be paying. Your rent would have increased from this amount to that amount. Some of them said, oh, I'm happy with it. Some of them said, no, I'm not happy. It's too expensive. I get them people to move out. Then I re-advertise those rooms where the tenants were not happy to increase the rent. I substitute them with other tenants. But to be honest with you, most of the tenants were happy for that increment because it's not a massive increment, it's just a tiny incremental. I divided the 400 by the 8 rooms. So in essence, the increment was only £50. And I was actually charging them below market rent as well. So in kind of work out for them a market rent at that point, because they took the property on literally significantly below market rent. So most of them were happy to stay. The ones that have stayed, we then moved them with new tenants that would pay equivalent to that £50. So each one of them got £50 increase, and the new ones also got £50 added in their rent. So then I was able then to rent all those rooms and make the same exact amount of revenue that I was making as if I was renting the 9 bedrooms. So what I then do, whilst I was doing that, I gave my existing landlord a notice. I said to him, look, I love your room so much, but unfortunately, I'm going to be moving to another house. So he was happy with it. I gave him notice. I said, I'm moving. And actually, I even helped him get a tenant to replace me. Okay. So I moved out when everybody have moved into those 8 rooms. Okay. And then I moved to the 9th room. And then I moved into that house, rent-free, bill-free, no expenses from my side. So at that point, I was living rent-free. Same amount of revenue, same amount of bills to pay for. Everything is paid for by my tenant. So I was living in the house with my tenant. The beauty of doing that is not just saving your monthly rent you would have paid and your bills. It also helps you look after the property. The property looks nicer, cleaner, better, have a better quality, right? And you can easily re-rent the property because you're there looking after it. And obviously you manage the people in the property as well, meaning they're not going to mess up because they know the landlord lives in the house. In that case, I was the landlord because I leased the property from another landlord. So the property looks absolutely clean, minted, always and always. And before a tenant moves out, we've got a tenant to replace them. And it was a very diverse house as well. We have people from Spain, Italy, the UK, and different places from the world. It's a very diverse community, and literally was absolutely amazing. So I was living in that house rent free, bill free. So at that point, any profit I make from that property, I'm not using. And I was working at that time as well, not earning a lot of money, but whatever I've made, I wasn't using that money. Literally, I've got nothing to use the money for apart from maybe buying food. And as you know, I'm very frugal. I'm going to this cheap supermarket to go and buy my stuff. Literally, I keep saving, storing this money. I went for my second property, able to get that. Went for my third property, still living in my shared house. Here's the thing, I did not move out because now I'm making X amount of money. I stayed there, right? I was living rent free and accumulating money. I repeat the process, I did not move. I delayed my gratification. So that's how I was able to live rent free. And believe me, you can replicate the same thing. It might not be the same way. You can do it this way. Are you renting a property right now from a landlord? Is it a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom flat? If they are, brilliant. Can you ask them if they have a house, a 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom house that they're renting that you're looking to take on? This only works if you're paying rent every single month, okay? If you're not, maybe you want to wait until you start paying every single month. You are in a good terms with your landlord before you ask them things like that. Suppose you haven't got a landlord, I've got houses. You go out there, look for these houses. Go out there, look for 5-bedroom house. So once you've got the 5-bedroom house, you move in and rent the rooms, okay? You're allowed to do that, okay? You can then rent those rooms and then you start living rent free. Or perhaps you've got a family member who's got houses, who's struggling to rent it. Take it on. Say, listen, I'm happy to take your rent on. You move into the house, get the tenant to pay the bills for you. Or perhaps you've got a landlord, you live in a 6, 7 or 8 bedroom house. The landlord is not looking after the property. He's struggling to look after the property. He's busy, got so many stuff going. But how about if you can sit with him on a cup of tea or coffee, say, look, I know you're busy, you got so many stuff going. Is it okay for me to take over this house so I can guarantee you the rent? Especially if the landlord is elderly and struggling to manage the property, that you will be a godsend to them. Literally, like, you know what, you can have it. What you do then, you reconfigure the whole house, you re-strategize everything. Ideally, get rid of everyone in there, get a new fresh blood with higher rent, higher rate, higher quality people, and start living rent-free. What's stopping you from doing that? Tell me, what's stopping you from doing that? Nothing. Perhaps if you own a house already, you've got 3 or 4 bedroom or 3 bedroom that you're not using. Have you thought about renting them? Or maybe you've got 1 bedroom. Have you thought about doing that bedroom as Airbnb? So these are the ways you can think outside of the box in order to get you a little bit closer to financial freedom. I really hope this video has been helpful. If this video has been helpful, smash the like button below. Subscribe to my channel for more amazing videos. I look forward to sharing next video. Thank you.